Lyric wanted to go into acting. She had been very successful in acting in Casablanca.
She was a brilliant comedian.
Landing those things that she thought she may not be able to get. She was just too anxious when she got out of school.
She wanted to share her religion with us.
I want to remember Lyric Benson in a very specific way. I want to remember her as an artist, and in particular as a working actress.
Like it was already done, like when I first met her. I just knew, some people there's a star right there.
And then he finally said, look, something's happened and I'm trying to get...
It was there that he shot her.
She'd been shot.
A Kansas City actress was making her rise to stardom until she was murdered.
Lyric had been shot.
And my husband ran into the room and said, Lyric has been shot.
Lyric was rushed to the hospital, where she died the next day.
Yeah, she was just ready to go full steam ahead with her career.
Beauty, a young actress named Lyric Benson, who had it all, a degree from Yale.
It's a sensational kind of story.
Something wrong with the story about Lyric.
She was just starting out.
I'm ready to take a bite out of the Big Apple.
But right now, I mean, there's nothing.
The headline said it all, Beauty and the Beast. The Beauty, a young actress named Lyric Benson, who had it all, a degree from Yale. She got an agent right out of school, and she had a look that got noticed and got jobs.
I can't believe you're doing this, man. Taking pictures of it.
You like apples? Sure. Well, you gotta get this stuff. The kitchen's the only thing that's not really semi-ready to live in. I have to put a floor down here. This is the Lemon Cottage, and this is where Lyric, well actually Lyric lived in this house for probably, less than a year. Deborah and I were entertaining Gene and Dennis Castleman here. We were watching Shogun with Richard Chamberlain.
We got through part of the movie and we were going to get dessert during one of the commercials when Deborah said, I need to go to the hospital.
We had to go, so we went to Suburban Hospital.
My mother called and said, Deborah and Terry are at the hospital. Lyric is being born.
They brought her home from the hospital. They read to her every night, Ray. I mean, I don't care whether, reading to a baby, infant, people don't think it's important. It is.
Is there a little thing up there in
Yeah,
the corner?
now there's a backlight.
Okay, now we're going backlight again just to see if...
Oh wait, there is definitely a difference.
Here. Lyric was just the life of a party, and in interest of full disclosure, Terry Benson and I have been friends for a number of years, and there was a yearly get-together at his home in Overland Park, and he appropriately called them deck parties, where Lyric would sometimes perform, actually a lot of times perform, with all of us there as well. Is that where the theatrical aspect of her life got started?
That seems to be a big part of how I remember her progressing, and I can remember the first year was 1987, and she was 6 years old. She sang 3 songs that night, actually not sing, but lip sync. These are lip sync parties, and ultimately she became a singer, but for my parties, since I couldn't sing, we would lip sync.
I like a good beer buzz early in the morning.
Deborah and I divorced when Lyric was 4, and of course they lived in the proximal area, and I was able to see Lyric every weekend virtually, and often in the middle of the week, and things were okay. Lyric was very resilient about the divorce.
So Lyric moved to Morocco from Kansas when she was 12, and the way she talked about it was just, I mean, it was such an incredible experience for her, and really, you know, just opened her mind and everything.
I've been busy learning different things.
All of a sudden she was in a different land, she looked different than everybody, and really immersed herself in her surroundings and, you know, learned 2 new languages.
Lyric wanted to go into acting. She had been very successful in acting in Casablanca, was in lots of plays and was always the lead.
When I changed my major to theater at my junior year of college, my mother bought these and she actually kept them as a gift for 2 years without giving them to me. But then she gave them to me on my graduation. She can never keep secrets. She can never keep from giving gifts. She held on to them for 2 years. And then so they're nice little actor statues. The original actors.
I met Lyric because I was her teacher at Yale University. Introduction to Performance 210A. So I don't know who to expect, you know, I never know who's going to come. She showed up. Showed up doesn't do justice to what she does when she enters a room. Lyric comes sashaying into this room. The thing about Lyric entering a room is that it felt like things fell off of her when she walked in a room. It made a noise. It was like marbles falling out of a box that's broken. You know, she comes into the room, her beauty splashes all over the place. She has that husky voice.
Thanks.
You know, and she laughs in this deciduous, spreading, colorful kind of way. And so she makes this entrance. I took one look at this girl and I knew I was in trouble. I thought, whoa, Nellie. I don't know if enough has been said about her portrayal of Jackie Onassis at the graduate school. Well, everyone was talking about this.
I was directing Jackie in American Life, a comedy about Jackie Onassis last year in the Yale Cabaret, and I was 2 weeks away from the opening and I couldn't find a Jackie, and so I talked to Adam O'Byrne and asked him if he knew any undergrad actresses who were glamorous, and he gave me Lyric's number and said she would be the most glamorous person I'd ever met. And so I called her up and told her there was a play and I wanted to know if she wanted to audition for Jackie Onassis, and she leapt at the chance to do it and showed up in a high silk shirt and rhinestones and very glamorous. But for professionalism's sake, I was going to be playing JFK, and I decided to read a scene with her, the scene where they meet, and I couldn't get through the scene. I was laughing so hard at all of her delivery. She was a brilliant comedian.
There wasn't anyone on campus, even computer majors were talking about her portrayal of Jackie Onassis. It was so right.
She came to me when she was contemplating her senior project, and she asked for a piece that would stretch her, that would be something that not every casting director would find for her. So I made a few proposals, and she chose the most radical one. Miss Margarita is a middle-aged teacher, bitter, angry, violent, profane, losing her mind in front of her classroom.
To see Lyric pack all this explosive energy, beauty, eroticism, and intellect into this prim and proper guise, it was an absolute study in comedy, and she intended it to be that way. It was a comment on the brevity of life and who are we to repress what is most exuberant in us. How prescient it was, and how hysterically funny it was. I congratulated her wildly.
And there's the Empire State
building. And it's really pretty when it lights up. And there's the Chrysler building. And then I think when all the leaves go away, you'll be able to see everything, right? All up there.
Yeah.
Some people are waiting 10, 15 years and never get a break. And things were really beginning to happen for her, and especially with her voice.
She was not somebody that gave up easily. She was somebody that saw possibilities in everything she did.
And I'm sure she'll be fine.
I'm sure she'll make it.
When somebody's starting out, there's a learning curve in both on camera and voice, and she didn't book anything immediately, but there was an immediate response and you could tell things were going to happen. I'm an agent in the commercial department here at Don Buchwald & Associates. I represent actors and actresses in television and radio commercials. Lyric was sent to me by her theatrical agent, the agent that represented her for theater, film, and TV. I do commercials exclusively. He does theater, film, and TV.
Hi there. Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Tell me your name.
Lyric Marie Benson.
The way we work here, since our agency is exclusive and we only work with signed talent, I needed to bring her back to meet the rest of the department. I had people from the voiceover department also sit in on the meeting because I just thought her voice was amazing. And we loved her and signed her and immediately brought her down to our recording studio to have her just try out some copy. And she did very well then, and we started sending out for both voice and on camera.
And popping up to camera. Great. Looking right at camera now. What color would you say your eyes are?
Blue.
They're blue. They look so blue with the blue background.
They can also be a little gray. My granddad has gray eyes.
Nice. So where are you from?
I'm originally from Kansas, but
Really?
I grew up in Morocco.
Wow.
The old one too, you know.
So, so wait, where did you spend most of your time?
I lived in Kansas until I was 11, and then I moved to Casablanca for middle school and high school.
Oh my gosh. Talk about culture shock, right?
Yeah, it was
wow.
wonderful.
And how long have you been in New York?
10 months.
She was landing a lot of jobs with her voice.
I remember her telling me, she said, my agent told me today that I will be able to work for the rest of my life doing voiceovers.
There was no question. She booked a few on-camera things, but the voiceover thing was really taking off, which is what I thought when I first met her and heard her voice. And thought, my God, if she can do copies, she's going to be great, because the voice is there. It's just a matter of whether she can learn the knack of reading commercial copy, which is an acquired skill, but she picked it up very quickly.
I remember when she got the All My Children, she got a little stint on that. But she had to come up with the sweater that she was going to wear. And so I was like, what do you want to look like? And we kind of broke it all down. I told her exactly where to go. And she went there and she got this like mauve-y, fuzzy turtleneck sweater.
She got a really small role, Comedy Central, with Dave Chappelle.
And she had started going back to church, and so she had this kind of renewed faith.
Her religious life seemed like an effort to master that much energy and that much power that she had been given. She didn't seek it, she had been given it. She sought a career actively and well. She was a purposeful, focused individual. She knew what she was doing and she knew what she wanted.
She realized that she was going to have this dream, this great career in film and theater. Everyone was telling her she would. The people, her agents, were telling her, you are going to be a star.
By this spring, Lyric already had landed small roles on several TV shows. There were commercials, modeling jobs, a big print ad campaign for American Express.
My name's Peter Radd. I'm a photographer here in New York, and I primarily do advertising and magazine work. Well, she was just sort of a dynamo, you know. She came in and she had an amazing presence.
Heck yeah, I'm ready for whatever.
It was interesting because we chose, because it was such a big campaign, we cast more people than we normally would, and then we shot with, I think, about 3 or 4 possibilities as main characters. And then once we had the images, we edited the images and chose the main character from there. So basically at the point at which we were shooting, we didn't know that Lyric was going to be the main character, but the images that we produced with her tended to be the more, I guess they stood out from the rest, in terms of just her glow and her presence.
Really? It was really exciting when the poster went up and stuff, just because it was so Lyric.
I finally found a way to spend my day, climbing life to the top. I can't think of a better way. I hope this fun will never stop. Can't you feel that joy?
Sure, we're famous for him. Best wings south of Buffalo.
You see her in here last night? Was somebody who ordered her famous wings?
Yeah, booth 17, back here. She was with an older guy. He got here before she did, though, did all the eating and drinking.
Did she seem anxious or nervous to you?
Yeah, all of that. She didn't even take off her coat.
Sounds like older guy was getting the brush off. How did it end?
She left after half an hour. He did a couple minutes after that. I guess he thought he could still change her mind.
Is that what he looked like he was doing outside with her, trying to change her mind?
Well, he came back 20 minutes later and he looked upset. Then he asked for directions to the E train and took off.
The last time I saw her, she smiled at me like it was, every time I saw her, I heard something fall or splash. I heard water splash, like little children jumping into a pond. Just the sight of her made that happen for me. And I said, "How are you, darling?" She said, "I'm getting married." And I'm a radical feminist, I'm like, really? She's too young to get married. I was 37 when I got married, and that felt rushed. So I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yes, yes." And I said, "Is he worthy of your beauty?" And there was a long pause. And she seemed to consider the question. She said, "I think so." When I said to her, "Is he worthy of your beauty?" Because I was very skeptical that anybody could have been worthy of her beauty at that time. She's too young. And there was that long pause. And in that pause, an empire collapsed. And she said, "I think so." But that was a long pause, I'm telling you, a long pause.
The last Christmas we all spent together, we were having Christmas at my house, and we were going to put on a Christmas Carol. And Lyric was Scrooge.
Never really left me alone.
Oh no. Spirit, oh no! No! Spirit, listen to me! I am not the man that I was! Why show me this if I am past all hope? Spirit, tell me that I may yet change the shadows of the future in altered life. Spirit, tell me, please. Tell me there's hope. Spirit, I beg you. Help me, Spirit.
We just, ran into each other a while ago.
Can I tell what
Yes.
she just broke up with her fiance, so now she's ready to have friends again.
I'm sorry. No, it's good. Thank you. Yeah.
She's okay with her doing it. His
Yeah.
heart is broken, but I
Yeah,
think
that's
Lyric
the
will
hard
be
part.
fine.
It's
always hard.
You know the last thing that she said to someone before she died? Do you know this story? She was in a taxi cab. She was coming home, and Lyric would always talk to people, always talking to. So before she died, she was having this long conversation with this guy in a taxi cab, and they were laughing. She got out of the door, and she said, "Bless you." It's the last thing she did. And then she walked toward her mother. I was sleeping in my son's bed. He was sick. And my husband ran into the room and said, "Lyric has been shot." My mother was staying with us, and so I went downstairs. And it was Deborah calling, and she said, "I need you. Please come." And so my mother and I, then we called Sarah, and all of us went to Union Station in Washington, D.C. We got on the train, and just before we left, I called Terry.
She mentioned something to the effect that Lyric had been shot. I didn't know. It's a bad dream. I just still can't believe I was hearing that. And I didn't know what to do. She didn't have much more to say. She didn't know if she would make it or not. But I know that I got up and got the first plane to New York City.
It just didn't even, I mean, Deborah had given us all the information that we needed to know to realize that this was critical, but it just didn't even, we couldn't even process it.
I got this horrible email from one of the professors saying, what shall we do? How shall we organize a response to this horrible situation? What's happened to this child? And the subject line was Lyric Benson. I was like, oh my God, 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 oh my God.
The family met at Bellevue Hospital in New York City, Manhattan, and it was just a horrible nightmare being there because the chances, as we were told, were not good that Lyric would make it.
I called Lyric, and I remember saying, could you call me back? I want to make sure you're okay. I don't know what's going on.
Not much was known at that point except that she was on life support.
At first it seemed like I didn't know enough. I thought maybe there was still a chance that she was conscious or her consciousness could be saved.
But I just prayed that she would come through, and of course, we couldn't have known how serious it was until the reports actually kind of trickled out.
And so you're hoping for the best, and we really didn't have any other information than that.
And we kept thinking, well, we'll nurse Lyric. I was saying, well, it's a good thing I'm not working. Emerson and I can go down and be with Lyric and take care of her until she recovers. And we were just planning all of these things that we would do as a family to help Lyric through this.
And so while Terry was out there, he would call back here and talk to either me or his mother, Winnie, and let us kind of know what was happening. And pretty much the first call is when it really hit home that she wasn't going to make it.
Then to be by her side, knowing the fate was already in hand, that she was not going to make it, but they had to go through certain procedures before they could officially pronounce her as deceased. So we had to wait a full day approximately, or a little over a day, and we were by her side constantly.
I called her mom and I said, what's going on? And she just said, I'm happy you called. And she said, she's not with us anymore.
In the blink of an eye, you're gone. Never even said goodbye. In the blink of an eye, I know. Never really left me alone.
It just felt so wrong. I just couldn't understand how someone like her could be hurt in that way. It just doesn't make any sense to have light, erased like that. Just doesn't make any sense to me.
She was so alive. It's hard to imagine that light can be vanquished so quickly. Of course, none of us are the same. You are not the same after something like that. I'm a different person. I would say all of us who were there, we are not the same. I think we are better people. In a way. Yes, definitely. We are.
Her mom, Deborah, was pretty adamant that she would be an organ donor. Lyric had talked about it. Deborah had experienced one of her students receiving a life-sustaining heart.
My sister was able to make this choice because she had a child, and she's a teacher, and she in second grade had a young boy named Michael, and he had congenital heart disease. And she was watching him, a 7-year-old, dying in her classroom. And he got a heart transplant.
And it happened, and he's healthy, and therefore that was pretty much it in terms of the family's decision. And Deborah suggested, and we all agreed, and there was no doubt that that would be what would take place.
So she saw that miracle happen in her own classroom. And when Lyric was in the hospital, that was kind of like a little note of hope for her. She thought about Michael, and she was able to make that decision, and Terry as well.
I got a call from our transplant coordinator around 11:30 at night saying we have a young woman who has been shot, and her family want her to be a donor because that was her desire. But they want to issue a statement to the press because this is a high-profile case, and we need your assistance. Obviously, reporters always want to get the story from the family. The hospital staff was extraordinary. They were very sympathetic of the family and protected the family from the press.
Why would this be something that we would have to keep reporters and photographers out of the hospital? It was another paparazzi story.
This family was being followed by the press, of course, because Lyric was the face of American Express on a beautiful poster down in Tribeca announcing the film festival.
Dressing up as doctors to try and get into the room where the family was, and then, you know, reveal themselves and try and get some kind of information or picture. Diving at them from bushes when they would go outside to cry.
Why would somebody want to interfere with our family time and our special time with the last 2 days bedside with Lyric?
It was a really sacred time.
Bone and skin were also a part of that organ donation, which could be preserved and help in other surgical procedures. So there was a definite value out of this profound loss.
I'm delighted that she would have been delighted. She is delighted. You know, she's creating insulin, and she's beating, and she's everywhere. You know, she's in all these people. It figures that from her come multitudes, you know, that her death has the greatest, you know, life. You know, that's the oxymoron of that. That, you know, from her death, many, many lives come. That makes perfect sense.
In the aftermath, I said to myself, what kind of sick, cruel world is this that would take such a beautiful person away from us so soon? And then I realized it was the same wide, wonderful world that allowed us to have her in the first place.
We will miss Lyric, and we will grieve for her, and we will cry. But in the end, when the grief has subsided and the memories remain, there will be Lyric, keeping us warm, making us smile, and inspiring us to be better than we ever thought we could be.
The New York Organ Donor Network was so great, and they lined up all of these organ donor recipients, and Chelsea found someone who wanted to help us film it.
Here's an opportunity to use this horrible tragedy and turn it into something positive, just like her family was doing.
She gave the gift of life to 5 people. That's why I've become an organ donor too. One decision saves so many lives. Donate life.
Organ donation is about life. It saves another life. Upon our death, what a wonderful legend to have.
But it also was really the first step for my own family's healing. I cannot imagine where our family would be if they had not made that decision. It gave us hope in such a dark time.
I'm trying to figure out ways to get the word out to even more people. I think organ donation is tremendously important, and I don't think enough people know about it. It's such an easy thing to sign your organs over on the back of your driver's license, and I think a lot of people just overlook that, and they're overlooking something that could save people's lives.
It's amazing to me that after 3 days that a person has received a new heart, they can be alive and walking, and their color comes back, and you see that wonderful life beaming from their eyes.
I thought that maybe there should be something happening in Overland Park where she was born and lived half of her life. And I thought, Lyric of Life.
Saturday night here at the Uptown Theater in Midtown, Benson and his supporters will put on the first annual Lyric of Life benefit rock concert and dance.
Can you tell us what you're doing?
Well, we went through a tough year, but we thought we needed to do something that would represent her shining life, and it was. And to not do this would have been unacceptable.
She lived up to her name, there's no doubt about it. Lyric of Life, a nonprofit organization that would help donor and recipient families, and also certainly honor her life in theater. So we grant theater scholarships to high school students that were in theater in high school. They don't necessarily have to be theater majors, but they have a theater background.
Lyric's story seems to move people and draw you in, and then, and then you learn.
And that's what Lyric's story is about. Lyric's story is about life, about cherishing every moment as if it's your last. This family is quite extraordinary, and it's just amazing how on both sides they've been able to turn an awful tragedy into something that is touching thousands of people.
I think she left so many gifts to people. And one of the gifts that she left me was her faith. And that's been incredibly important to me.
Lyric she would be having as much fun as anybody. She should be here with us tonight celebrating whatever we were celebrating, organ donation being one of them also. She should be here with us tonight.
Indeed, she is still living, and she is here with us tonight, even though we can't see her, but her spirit is certainly alive here tonight. I would just like to give a round of applause tonight for Lyric and her spirit, because she is definitely here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your plans for me are perfect.
Well, in the beginning, I remember anything that was pretty reminded me of Lyric. Anything pretty in nature seemed to me like it was a sign of Lyric sending me something pretty from heaven.
I really think she's, I see her laughing. I see her everywhere. I see her in light.
Light. I would use the word light to describe Lyric, because when I think of her, that's what I see. It's white light.
She is a source of light. She always is a source of light. She's visible, she's audible. She was always visible and audible, even when she was silent and sitting there. She was visible and audible, and I don't think that has changed. I don't accept that has changed, really. I know something has changed. I can't define exactly what.
I'm here. Jacob Marley and Christmas time be praised, I'm still here.
I love that. I love that she's still among us. In memory, in art, in film. I love that. That comforts me.
Hello! I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby.
Okay, Lyric, do you want to do a commercial? Yeah. We're going to do a commercial now, okay? Tomorrow, I love you, always, I think away. That was Annie, folks. You should come out and see Annie at the Missouri Repertory Theater. Wow, wasn't that neat? Yeah. Wow. That's exciting.
You showed me moonlight in a whole different way. You showed me sunlight, even though it wasn't light of day. In the blink of an eye, you're gone. Never even said goodbye. In the blink of an eye, I know. Never really left me alone. I'm finding it hard to taste the salt of letting go. I feel communications there, I just need to know. I can't touch you, and my tears won't bring you home. I can't touch you, but their salt still melts the snow. In the blink of an eye, you're gone. Never